Welcome, everybody. It's Wednesday night. Of course, it's our favorite time of the week. We are, of course, excited to be here. It is your favorite power team, and we are definitely in the building. If this is your first time rocking with us, everybody, we would like to go ahead and formally introduce ourselves. I go by the name of Kesha Kesh.
And it's your boy, Dr. Real, Mr. Motivational. Let's go. Let's get it.
Let's go. I'm feeling really good tonight. Excited to be here. I feel so refreshed. I feel like, when we always have these weekly, it's like family. It's like being in a situation to where you have not seen, your family in a couple of days, and you get a chance to kick it with the fam. So, that's just how we feel. Hey, Kim, how are you, love? I'm always excited about when Wednesday nights come up. What about you, Dr. Real?
Oh, absolutely. Wednesday was never one of my favorite days until I joined the podcast and the Power Team, and now I look forward to Wednesdays because I get to run my mouth for an hour, which I love to do, and with my favorite partner I got right here on the screen.
Yes.
So it is what it is, and I love it. Let's go. I love it.
Let's go. We have a lot of great things that we're going to talk about tonight, guys. So I'm very excited about that. But as usual, we want to unpack some stuff because we want to talk about some of the current events that's going on. Now, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I'm always looking around, being nosy, seeing what everybody is talking about, and just really gathering how I feel about certain situations that's popping. It was a situation. Now I'm gonna tell you, this is what I read, allegedly, because I read it like this, I shared it like this, I posted it like this, because again, this is what the information came in, how the information came in. And it was a guy, I want to say that he was about he was close to 60. And this young lady was about 18. The thing is, the guy was her godfather, and he married her. They're now married. I think he used to date her mom, and that's how he became her godfather. And I was just like, they had a wedding and everything. Like, it's posted, all on social media. They appear to be in love. She responded to her mom, and she said that she felt safe. And this is one thing that she said, Dr. Real. She said she chose him because nobody in her age range believes in marriage and stability. And when I read that, I'm like, you know what? She got it wrong. I don't know what type of people she's hanging around, but the crazy thing about it is it's the reverse. The baby boomers, the millennials, well, X-Gen, those are people that's kind of like, they're not believing in the traditional marriage. The younger generation are actually the ones that's coming right out of high school, college, living with each other in their dorms or whatever, and they are already setting expectations like, we need to get married and buy a house. It's like it skipped and it went back to this. So for her to be that young, and she said that she wasn't, her age group didn't believe in that. That's why she chose to date older, or marry him. It didn't make sense. It did not add up. Period. Like, it was, I was in disbelief.
I mean, she has a point because just in my research, I like to read the psychology magazines and articles, and there's some truth to what she is saying.
But she's 18, so you're saying within that age range?
They're not looking for what you just said, the traditional married, like our mothers and fathers before us decided to do. This trend, especially for women, the trend is more women are not looking to get married. It's more so the men. So this is flipped. It used to be women desire to get married. That's, I want to be married. You don't hear that as much anymore. It's more now It's more, you hear more men wanting to settle down. I'm not saying the majority, but you hear more men wanting to be married more than women now, because like we was talking backstage, there was a time when women had to get married because they didn't have any rights to do anything unless a man gave their consent. But with the revolution in the 60s and the 70s, when divorce was once frowned upon, now you can get divorced in 20 seconds nowadays. That desire, when women now are CEOs and six figures and they're doing their own thing, they don't need that anymore. So it's not
So wait a minute.
a
Is it an age
desire.
range though, Dr. Real? Because what I'm trying to figure out, I know my ladies on here, we're trying to figure out where they at. Because what I'm hearing you say, I get what you're saying. Because you're saying that more men are wanting to. And it used to be the woman that's dreaming of the picket fence and the big house and all this stuff. But it's men more so of saying we need to, they're calling the shots and asking. Is that what you're saying? Or is it a certain age group? Because we got to figure this out.
Now women have more options than they ever had in any time in society. They have options now. Before they didn't have those options. They have options now. That's why men are like, damn, the pool is getting a little shallow, because not only am I getting challenges from women want to have a relationship more with women than they are with men. Women like, hey, we can kick it like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, but I don't want to say I do, because I don't want to have to, when you're not happy no more, I don't want to have to give you half, because I might make more money than you. I might be the breadwinner, and I have to give half of my dividends up to you if you unhappy. So nah, brother, I ain't with that. I'm good on my own. I don't need you. I just want you, but I don't need you. And I think that was the turn in things. Not to saying that there's like a gazillion men out here want to get married. That's not true. That's all I'm saying. It just was a study done, and it showed that the trend is changing. Women are no longer sitting here waiting for Prince Charming to ride up on a white horse no more. They good. They got their own horse. They don't need you to ride on.
Well, is it a defense mechanism, or is it the realness coming straight, genuine from the heart? You feel that women are just like, you know what, bro? You know, we ain't got to do all that. I'm just strictly, I'm good. I don't need you.
I think we've seen so much. I'm going to speak for myself. I've seen, growing up, I saw so many dysfunctional marriages that in my mind, when I was a little boy, I was maybe 5 or 6. I told my great grandmother, teach me how to do everything that, in those times there was traditional roles. A woman supposed to cook, clean, and all that good stuff. Teach me all the things that a woman would need to know how to do, because I don't want to get married.
A lot of guys, I believe that. That's true.
I seen my uncles and everybody going through all this hell, and I'm like, man, is it really worth all that to be with one person? So my little mind, I'm like, man, it's teach me how to cook and clean and iron and stuff, so that way I ain't got to depend on. I don't need no woman. I want to have one. I won't need a wife, because I can take care. I can be self-sufficient myself. That changed as I got older, obviously, because I'm married now. But that was a long-held belief for me for a long time, because I just saw so much dysfunction. And I think that's also what's happening now with women growing up in households where either the dad was an adulterer, or maybe the mom. And they just like, you know what? I ain't got time for that. And then the opportunities that are present now for young women, the need to be married is not as prevalent as it was, I say, 30 years ago. It's just not.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, because I checked into a couple of groups, and this guy, he posted and said that he posed the question, and he asked, are you all okay? And he spoke to men and women. He said, are you okay with knowing that it's a possibility that we all are going to never marry? And the majority of the people that responded were women. And they did say that they were totally fine with it, and that they believe that that's true. And they rather be alone than go through some of the stuff that they see other women go through. And it's funny, because it's like what you said. The guy was shocked, like, what? Like, what? It was like he was confused as to, like, where are all these sad women that's going okay with not having their dream wedding and all this stuff. He was very like, really? But all the women was like, next. What else?
You
What's
know,
what's good?
and that's not to say they still don't want that, but that's not what's driving them. They don't sit
Mm-hmm.
here and get their big pajamas on and eat Godiva ice cream and drown their sorrows no more. That's sitcom fodder. That doesn't happen anymore.
Facts. Facts.
Women have to say women have choices. The sexual freedom is there now. It's hard to call a woman a whore nowadays. People might
Yeah.
say it, but the impact of calling somebody a whore in the 1980s versus now doesn't have the same impact. It doesn't. It
Right.
doesn't matter
It
because
doesn't.
you have the Little Kims, the Cardi B's have opened up that door for sexual freedom where you can't label me no more. If you can go out here and have 60 bodies, I can have 60 bodies too. And what? You're no longer going to have this social construct of telling me what my role as a woman anymore. I'm going to do me, and it don't matter what you're talking about because I have freedom of my body. If I want to have have sex with 20 different guys and you out here doing the same thing, how can you judge me? And it's true.
Right. Yeah. Carlos Johnson says broken homes, each generation grew further apart away from the church, and Christians' values in social media has tainted the desire for marriage. That is 100% correct. And based on what Carlos is saying, it's really about fitting in. So if you're in a pool of people and the majority of you guys think alike, it's like one of those things where the accountability is not there anymore. There's nobody to, yank you up and say, hey, that's not right, that's not how it's supposed to be. Majority of people are agreeing, and their beliefs are more so of what we're speaking of. We don't need partnership, we don't need a husband, we don't need a wife, we don't need, it's just about really having a good time, fun, and just being you, doing what you
Society,
want to do. It's not
societal
us.
rules, societal rules are based upon what's popular, whatever the popular vote is. At one time, you could whoop your kids in public, and because that was a popular mindset, nobody blinked an eye and said a word. But
You
then
can't do that no more.
when that shifted, and it became the kids had CPS on speed dial, and the state got involved in how you raise your kids, then the opinion changed, and popular opinion what makes the rules for society. So now,
Ooh, we talked
where
about that the other day.
where it's open, the world is so open now, and with the invent of the internet and the ability, which I will talk about this later on, the ability to you can have sex like Instacart if you wanted it.
Yep.
Sex is so easy to get, it don't make any sense. So
Man.
some people thinking, well, why the hell do I want to be tied down to one person when I can literally go on Ashley Madison as a married person or non-married person, where that site is strictly designed to set up affairs for married people
Right.
that want to have affairs. Or I can go on Tinder and have a different person every single night. I can go on, used to be Craigslist had a back page. They got rid of back page, but now you have OnlyFans. So you can go
Or
anywhere and have cyber
or you
sex.
can walk into a club.
You can go exactly.
These
You can go to Dallas and go to that club I talked about 2 weeks ago. But there's so
that
many
you was
options.
talking about, right?
Well, you don't have to be with one person no more. So, but
You
again,
really
that's
don't.
about what you think marriage is. You think marriage is just about sex, and you already got it wrong already anyway. But if you
Right.
think that's what it's all about, that's part of it. But that's a minute part of it when you really get down to the get down. But as far as that young lady's concerned,
Absolutely.
I think it's deeper than her just saying that people in her age group are not wanting to get married. I think it's deeper, way deeper than that. But that's a good line to say for the public, not to devour her. They're going to do it anyway because of the age difference is significant, and the fact he was her godfather. It just doesn't. The optics are not good on
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? The optics are
Right.
horrible. But what
Right.
she said was just a good disclaimer to get everybody off her. But at the end, I don't think that may be part of it, but I think there's a deeper issue at hand than that.
It's definitely deep. Dr. Real, the most important part that was I read about also in there was the guy used to date her mom. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how are you marrying someone that used to date your mother?
So
The
how
hell?
long has he been looking at you, or how long have you been looking at him? you know.
Exactly. They said she ran away. She was a runaway child or something, and he went looking for her. And I don't. It's something to me that gives me. Um, it makes me ponder. It makes me wonder that was something going on when he was with your mom for you to be. Were you jealous because something must have took place? Maybe your mom didn't even know about for you to run away and lash out, and now all of a sudden you come back and you marry this man. That's deep. Like you said, I think it's more to it than what she's saying. They had it then went viral. Like they were all on social media. They had this wedding. I think one of her cousins, I think one of the kids that this guy have is one of her cousins also. So it's like she's the child is confused because she don't know if she should call them her mom or cousin because she's now the stepmom to this child, and that's her cousin. So it's a lot. Man, it's deep. I'm telling you, the people
That's
on here,
crazy.
they know exactly what I'm talking about. A couple of people, they read it. We got some more messages coming in. Carlos, I miss you, my brother. Where you been? I don't know where Carlos
Exactly.
been. Carlos Johnson. He used to chime in with us all the time. Thank you so much for chiming in with us tonight and sharing your feedback and engaging with us. We love that. I'm going to move on because we got so much stuff that we do want to talk about. But other thing, if y'all haven't saw, hey, Southwest Airlines, they ain't playing in these streets. With Southwest Airlines, it was maybe yesterday. This is what they're asking for. They've already been given a date to where they actually have to um, be vaccinated. And what they were asking for was for to extend the time frame. Southwest Airlines said no. They're totally okay with firing or losing the bulk of people that has already threatened to walk away and put them in the situation that they're in. They're saying we're not extending any time. We're not giving you nothing else to think about. This is the date. This is what you need to do. And if you don't, you will no longer work for this company. Bye bye. And they all went on strike. My cousin was actually, she was at the airport and she was saying, like, at that moment they were walking out. Like, hell, y'all find somebody else to do this. We ain't doing it. Where the sticks and the signs at? Like they were really like it was going down yesterday or the other. Yeah, yes, I think it was yesterday. But I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Dr. Real? Do you think it's the fact that they're forcing them, or is it something deeper that we may not know about?
I mean, it's kind of like I read about the Chicago policemen that are deciding to retire instead of getting vaccinated, and they're threatening to take away their pension if they do so. It kind of, like I said before, the flu was killing people too, but we never mandated people to get the flu vaccination. That was a choice of your own to get it if you want to get it or not. Now I understand that this the COVID is a lot different than the flu because it's running rampant and it's taking folks out left and right. You know what I'm saying? I had my battle with it, so I understand I've had the flu before, and the flu ain't got nothing on COVID. Not even the same thing. The COVID is like Mike Tyson at 20 years old, where the flu was kind of like Muhammad Ali when he was fighting Larry Holmes. Big difference.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I feel that any company should not have the ability to make you get something that you don't want to get.
I agree.
I understand that. I understand why they may think that's a mindset, and I get it. Some occupations, maybe like policemen or something like that, they are in constant contact with the public. I understand that, but again, I think that should be your right as a person to say, I want to get this in my body or not. That should be a choice.
I agree.
Fence because, like I said, once again, the flu, there's been different strains of flu going around. I remember when SARS was going around. I remember when the swine flu was going around. They actually had stuff for that, but you weren't made to get vaccinated for that. So I get it. It's scary about it because it was a worldwide pandemic. I understand. I get it. But again, you shouldn't be forcing people to get something they don't want to maintain employment.
At all. Man, that's it's deep. You know, it's a lot going on. It's a lot of people that's mentally being impacted by the stuff that's going on. I was intrigued. The Mamapreneur podcast. She had one of her guests that was on, Marquita was her name, I believe, and she's a counselor, and she was, she speaks to, she counsels men, she counsels women, children, and all the different things that people are dealing with. But um Carlos mentioned something about bad spirits. Y'all, I was looking at this article, and this guy, he was 23 years old, 22 or 23 years old. He was the manager of, like, it was either Wendy's or a McDonald's. And Dr. Real, let me tell you what happened. The guy drove up to the drive-through, and he was complaining about his food being cold. And as he was complaining about his food being cold, he gave it back to the guy. So of course the manager comes up and take it. The guy sitting there in the drive-through assumed and thought that he was going to go and warm the food up or give him a fresh batch of whatever it was. Mm-hmm. This guy came back to the window, went back there where the hot grease was, and dashed the hot grease in this guy's lap as he was sitting in the drive-through. That they had to rush him to the hospital. Like, it's a situation of, sir, like, what is wrong with you? When I saw his mug shot, because of course they came and arrested him. When I saw his mug shot, he was really sitting there smiling. And he said that he was irritated by the complaining of what that customer was doing. So I'm like, man, mentally, what's going on in this world and the stuff that we're going through, it's kind of like, what we gonna do?
I mean, people are on edge, and
they're on
it's
the edge
because, like, you're inundated every single day now that they're hollering about food shortages. These landlords are just raising their rent whenever they feel like it, so where you can't pay it. The people keep talking about all these jobs, but these jobs are not paying livable wages. So I mean, at the end of the day, people are on edge, and that guy, I'm not never going to defend what he did was obviously horrendous and it should never happen. Mm-hmm. But people, you don't know what that guy may have got a phone call right before that happened and say that, you know what, you getting evicted today.
Could have been.
Or he may have had 4 or 5 call outs and he's at a busy location and he's stressing. None of that dictates or approves what he did, because what he did was obviously wrong. He could have killed that person. Mm-hmm. Now, whatever restaurant that was is going to be on the hook for that guy's. He going to sue him, because I definitely would sue the corporation. I know he might be an individual who did it, but you work for that entity, so I'm gonna come get all of y'all. But everybody is on edge. You see it when people driving. Like, people, it's almost like the world is dynamite, and we're shaking the nitroglycerin, and it's about to explode. Because there's so much anger, so much division, so much anger. Like, you have people ready to kill people because they're not vaccinated. They're literally ready to hurt you because you're not vaccinated. They're ready to hurt you because you are vaccinated. It used to be a time where you and I could have a difference of opinion, and that's all it was. You love blue and I like red. And I argue my point of red, you argue your point of blue, and okay, well, we just disagree, and that was the end of it. Now, you better agree with what I say, what's the problem. And that's where we are as a society. We don't listen no more. We listen to respond. We don't listen to understand your point of view. I'm gonna be quiet long enough so you can see what you gotta say. And in my mind, I'm thinking of a retort, not listening to what you're saying and see, you got some good points. I may not agree with what you're saying wholeheartedly, but I can see some of your points are valid. We don't even do that no more. Right. It's strictly, but damn it, I'm this and you're that. And there's just a line drawn in the sand where we can't even have a conversation anymore. At all. It's not even debating. Even in debating, everybody knows in debating, you have your points, I have my points, and that's a debate. It's not even that no more. I don't want to hear nothing to say because you're not lining up what I got to say. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we got to be careful because you never know the mindset of a person, and like you said, you never know what they're going through. Um, oh, Carlos Johnson, you said you had been in Facebook jail. Dang, I want to talk about that too. Uh, at Facebook, y'all have to be careful. What I've been noticing is that with Facebook, they've also been going into possibly your old content, something that you may have even posted years ago, and they're going in, looking at that data, that content, or whatever that you posted, and if it violates the guidelines of the new things that they've implemented, they're sending you these warnings and these messages that they will put you in Facebook jail. And something else that I just saw that ran across my timeline the other day, they said that if you are bashing celebrities or if you're bashing influencers, and this doesn't have to be just political type stuff, politics or anything like that. They're strictly saying influencer people that somebody, if they somebody, and you jumping on here and you bad enough to blast them, they're giving you a warning that they will. I don't know how many warnings you get, but they're going to block your stuff. They're going to probably put you in Facebook jail. So
They even going
I
as far
really
as saying
think
sexual harassment for celebrities. So if you think Beyonce is hot, you might not want to type. Or that dress you had on was banging because they probably put your ass in Facebook jail. They ain't
yeah.
playing no games in the community standards. It's crazy.
I think what happened was when we had that blackout, that whole whatever 6 hours, whatever how many hours it was when Facebook went down. I don't know what Mark went in there and did, but it seems like he went in there and did some stuff. And now you might want to go in and read, like when they give you those notifications and they say now you're all up to date. You might want to go back and read things that violates the things that you do because it went down. But I believe it's a reason why the stuff went down, and we got to be on our P's and Q's because they not playing, period, on Facebook. So let's be cautious. But I'm glad you out of Facebook jail, my brother. It's good to have you here with us, Carlos. I love the way that you engage with us and you give your insight to the stuff that we're talking about. Moving on. One of the things that we have that myself, and Dr. Real, we talked about on our last show was we want to be here for support. We want to make sure that you guys are comfortable to talk to us. Don't ever hesitate about hitting us up because we have this thing and we have a power pen pal is what we have. It's the PowerTeam pen pal, and you can write to us. You can tell us about your personal experiences. You can ask us for our thoughts and our feedback on certain things. You can remain anonymous. So we will be talking about those things because we have people that we engage with and talk to that trust in us, and we talk about things that's going on in the world today. We want to talk about a situation and give our feedback. You guys are very you can chime in if you like, if you want to share your feedback on this topic that we're going to talk about. But we want to kind of touch on one of our pen pals that wrote in to us about some stuff that was going on and give our insight on it. Dr. Real, you care to kind of unpack what our pen pal wrote to us?
When I got that pen pal email when you sent it to me, and I reread it a couple times so I can kind of get a good synopsis of what was going on. I'm gonna say this.
Okay.
Everybody does not deserve a second chance.
Yes.
A lot of times our second chances we give people are predicated on the fact that we love them. Or we factor in, I've been with so and so long. But I'm gonna quote Nia Long from Love Jungle, one of my favorite movies of all time. Is all we have is all these years. And when she said that quote, and I watched the movie in '98, that has stayed with me since 1998 because it makes a lot of sense. People think, well, I've been with this person for 15 years. I don't want to give all this time. But when you really sit back and think about it and remove love, which is really minute when it comes to relationships, that should be the last thing you need to be worried about. You'll start seeing things a lot clearly when you start looking at things and you remove the love from it. Has that person really been loyal to me this 15 years I've been with them. Start thinking about, have they been loyal to me? Have they been honest with me? Or do they lie about stupid stuff? Because my grandmother told me if you lie about small stuff, you ain't gonna have no problem lying about big stuff. If you lie, you know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as white lies. A lie is a lie. A half a truth is a whole lie. It doesn't matter how you
Agreed.
phrase it. So that person, are they being honest with you about how they do their finances? Do they lie you about their whereabouts? It's anything, little things that you sit here and because you love them, you just say, oh, I'm gonna let that slide. Some people, when they see that, they're opportunists. Okay, well, they see how much they can get away with. You know that give an inch, take a mile thing? They see, okay, well, I did this and he or she didn't, I didn't get in trouble for it. It's like a child, in a sense.
Right.
Some people don't have that maturation when you marry them. They still have childlike tendencies and they're grown, but they still have, I need to challenge you to see what I can get away with. So I'm going to do this and see what you do. Oh, you can do nothing? Okay, well, I'm going to ramp it up and now I'm going to do more. You know, then you finally get caught red-handed and then they're like, oh, okay, I caught. What are you going to do? And then when you don't do anything to them till they feel like they're suffering, they're like, well, shit, I can do what I want to this person. They're never going to do anything. So to the person that wrote in, you said 37 years, that's a long time with anybody for anything. But I'm asking you this, Matt, you ask yourself this, is 37 years worth your self-respect? Is 37 years worth your self-worth? Is 37 years worth you questioning or worrying every single day or night where they are? Is 37 years worth you looking in the mirror and you don't even know who you are no more because you allowed them to change you? You want them to change, but in the end, you're the one that changed. And for a lot of times, for worse, not the better. So you said that he was paying the other woman money and he talked bad to you and disrespected you. Those are all signs that in the end of the day, that person was non-monogamous and he was never going to be the husband that you envision. A lot of times we have a version of a person we create in our heads, and they're not the person that's standing in front of you. We have this standardized and clean version of this person that they're this, but if you really step back and look at them, they're nothing like the person that you created them. You're not accepting the person for who they're showing you they are to be. And that's why a lot of marriages are failing. That's why a lot of things are not working, because people are not accepting the true version of the person that they're with. They don't want to acknowledge that this is the person that I'm married to. Damn, how did I not see this? That love is crucial. That's why they say love is blind. Because when you love a person, you overlook things that you normally wouldn't overlook. When you really in love with a person, you overlook a lot of crap, or you take a lot of crap that you would normally take from a friend, from your own child, from your own mama. You wouldn't have said it because you in love with this person. You let stuff pass, and you can't let things pass with a lot of people because a lot of people are married to opportunists, and you are an opportunity to them. So my advice to her is, you don't want to react out of emotion, because a lot of times when you react out of emotion, you're not thinking, you're just reacting. I did not really rock with her bringing her child, the daughter, into the mix. I think when you have marriages that are failing, you shouldn't try to involve the children to take sides in the sense. What he did was totally wrong. I'm not apologizing foremost for her, but again, I just don't think you should want to demonize each other, because if it was her doing that, I wouldn't think it'd be right for him to go to his son or daughter and paint her in this light, whether it be true or not. That should remain between you and him. I think you should kind of remove yourself from the household, or remove him from the household, and then you need to start making moves to take care of you. Stop thinking of we, and now you need to start transitioning to thinking of me. Because those kind of things that you were saying, that email can definitely damage you mentally, and where your vision and your outlook on relationships, period, can be destroyed for the rest of your time here on earth. And I'm here to tell you, we all sit here and say life is short, but we all act like life is infinite, and it's not. Life is finite. And we all know this, but don't look at those 37 years as wasted life. Look at it as, everything is a lesson. And in life, you're
Yeah.
either the teacher or the student. Period. You're either one, you're either the teacher or the student. And unfortunately, in this case, you were the student, and life was teaching you. But there's better things out there for you. Uh, don't sit here and think about the time you spent with him, because that will keep you there longer than you need to be. It's not, that's
Yeah.
past. That's 37 years is the past. You need to look forward to what you're going to do today and tomorrow, and quit worrying about what y'all had, because what y'all had obviously wasn't even real. It wasn't even built. It was a house of cards. It wasn't even built on its true foundation. He's definitely someone who's not into monogamy, obviously, and it seems you are. So right then and there, they go to show y'all never meant to be together in the first place, because he's non-monogamous, and from what I can get from you, you're monogamous, and that was never going to work in the first place.
My insight on it, Dr. Real, is that we as a people, and this goes for men and women, we just got to be comfortable with communicating, and we have to be comfortable with sometimes hearing things that we're not okay with hearing. And that comes even after marriage, meaning that everybody still continues to grow, everybody continues to change. Sometimes people have desires for other things, and sometimes people are afraid to communicate these things to their partners. And if everybody could just be honest and loyal, and ensure that it's a welcoming zone to talk about certain things and have these open discussions, I think that the world would be a better place. But I know women, we are more emotional when it comes to certain sensitive topics and certain things. But we have to understand that sometimes the person that we marry is not that same person after a couple of years, after a couple of weeks. They're not that same person. So we got to get comfortable with making those. I guess that's why people talk about date nights and continuing to date. It doesn't even have to be a formal dating scene. It could be more so of, we do need to set time aside to continue to communicate, to understand where we are in this marriage, or whether it's a relationship. Because at any given time, to be fair, if you're interested in something that I'm not interested in, by all means, give me the option to opt out of it or opt into it. And if we're not comfortable to communicate that, these are the kind of problems that we have. So I can't defend anyone in a situation where I don't know both sides of any story. But I can say that a lot of times this occurs when we don't have that safe zone to come and communicate what we want. And sometimes we're selfish and we're afraid to communicate it, and we begin to do whatever it is that we want to do without giving that other person the opportunity to know this is where we're at this point. And that's where the hardship come from. I can say that the majority of the world, I mean, we are into this whole traditional type relationship lifestyle and certain things, but the world has just changed so much that certain people, they're just not down with that. And if you are already involved with a person that's not, and you initially assume they were because you opt into this because y'all had the same morals, values, or whatever the case may be, you got to still check in with that person, have those conversations, listen to how they respond to certain things. And it's okay for you not to agree with what they're, the way that they're wanting to move. But to that person's defense, you need to let them know also. You don't have to agree with what that person wants to do, but communication is going to get both sides to understand where we are today. Everybody's going to continue to grow. Everybody's going to continue to grow an interest in certain things. We just got to be grown up and communicate and understand. It may be hurtful to learn the things that person may tell us, but it's only fair to share that information.
But there's so
That's
many people that want to
my
have their cake and eat it too. That's why they don't communicate it, because they know you eventually know what your partner is. Your partner's straight lace and you know what I'm saying, they dot the I and cross T kind of person. You know they're not with their risk analysis, and they, what I'm saying, you kind of know who your partner is in a sense. I totally believe you don't never know anybody 100%. I don't give a damn how much they divulge. You never know. That's why people say, "Well, I never knew my husband was a serial killer. I lived with this man for 20 years and had no idea he was going to kill me," because you never really know nobody at 100%. Nobody. I just feel that way. So the question I think she's asked herself is not why he keep doing this to me, but why do I keep allowing it? Because
bingo.
what I mean, that needs to be the question of the day for her or anyone who's going through this similar situation. Like, if someone keeps doing you harm, it comes to a point where you can no longer put the accountability on them. You got to put the accountability on you, because you still allow it. You keep taking them back. You keep allowing it to happen. If some people that know that they can take advantage of you, they're going to do it because you will let them do it, and they don't have enough self-restraint to not do it because they're selfish people. A lot of time they have NPD, which is narcissistic personality. So a lot of them have that. They feel like I can do what I want to, and you're going to be here regardless. And if you keep allowing them to walk all over you, then they're going to treat you like a doormat. And who you mad at? At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself that question: who am I? Am I mad at them for doing it, or am I mad at myself for allowing it?
I agree, Dr. Real. And for my ladies that's out there, we're in a tough spot at times because we know the rule of thumb is that when we want to have a serious conversation with a man, whether it's our significant other, spouse, whoever, husband, whatever the case may be, a lot of times men get on the defense because they do think it's something bad because we have not found a way to make that conversation welcoming. But what we can do in those situations is, if you find that a guy that you're dealing with is shying away from having that real conversation with you because they're afraid to know what you guys are going to talk about, there's nothing wrong with still expressing. Leave him out of the equation. I'm not saying don't validate, listen to what it is that this person wants. I'm talking of a specific situation to where you're dealing with a person. And for my ladies, you're dealing with a man and he does not want to have these uncomfortable conversations. Mm-hmm. It's okay for you to still say, let me talk to you about something. Let me tell you where I'm at in my life. Let me tell you how I've changed. Let me tell you, because you could have been a person that's doing something different. And if that's the case, that person may not respond, but I bet you 1,000% they're listening. You are in the right to let that person know what it is that you're dealing with and how you feel at that moment, how you've grown and changed, or you may be interested in something else, and reveal what your no-goes are, or what the things that you can tolerate are, and just have that general conversation. If they don't respond, that's fine. It's in the atmosphere. You threw it out there. When that person is comfortable enough to come back and have that conversation and build that dialogue with you, you've already put it out there. There's nothing wrong with you still standing your ground and letting the person know your do's and your don'ts. And whenever they're comfortable enough to have that conversation, have that conversation. So again, guys, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about, we do have our PowerTeam pen pals. They write into us. They share certain things with us. We want you to do the same things. If it's a topic that you want us to discuss, if it's a personal issue that you're going through, if it's something that you are dealing with, do not hesitate to hit myself up. Don't hesitate to hit Dr. Real up. We'll discuss it. You could, be anonymous, or you can actually reveal who you are. It's totally fine with us. And we don't have a problem with touching on those things that you want us to talk about.
We're not going to mention your name, so don't worry about it. We're going to put you on blast. We just talk about your situation. Absolutely. We're not going to talk about you. So
exactly. This is a no judgment zone. We're going through some stuff in life. A lot of people are going through some of the same things in life. So there's nothing wrong with us trying to be there. We're family. Share our feedback and how we feel that this information can help you. So don't hesitate to hit us up, guys. We do want to go ahead and get into our topic for tonight. Dr. Real, we got 15 minutes because we be talking. I told you
Oh, I
we
got
have
it,
about
bro.
15 minutes left. But let's go ahead and talk about our topic that we're going to discuss for tonight.
So, my topic of tonight is monogamy real? Is it something that
Mm,
humans can really be? And in my research, I found out a few things that were kind of eye opening. One is monogamy does not become naturally. We're not hardwired to be monogamous. Even most mammals, which we are mammals, and 90% of mammals are not monogamous. They have multiple partners. That's in the animal kingdom and everything. Really, birds are one of the few species that actually stick with one person. Mammals and the Lords of the Great Lake Tupac, they get around. Um,
hmm
Monogamy, from an anthropologist mindset, has been around for roughly 1,000 years, and that's not long. When you think about it, 1,000 years is what a millennium, and we just came into a new millennium in 2000. So it's not something that's been around a long time, and they think it really came to the forefront because males wanted to protect their partners that they may have had children by, so other males wouldn't try to procreate with them. So it was more of a defense mechanism than anything. Then you bring into the Catholic Church making marriage be this thing. I call it more of a social construct, because you look at the Bible, a lot of biblical figures had multiple wives, and the Bible was set more in the Middle East, right? And in the Middle East, you have polygamy is a standard. It's not something that's shied upon. In Kenya, in Saudi Arabia, and other countries of that nature, they have multiple wives, and it's accepted thing because society over there is the norm. Over here, if society made it normal, we won't frown upon it because it's normal. But we push. You're supposed to get married and have 2.5 kids and have a pet and a nice house, and that's your life. That's no longer the case anymore. I talked about poly a few episodes ago, and that's
hmm
becoming a real thing.
hmm
There's a myth about sexuality, and as the more I read, the more I think that men, and I'm not speaking just because I'm a man, but a lot of things that we believe about men are social constructs that's being put out there and forced upon us to believe. One is that men require variety in marriage with sexual partners more than women, and I found out that is not true. Women get bored faster in marriage situations with sex more than men. Men are okay as long as they get some booty, they good. And it don't matter if it's the same, like Kevin Hart said, if it's the same positions from 1980, they don't care. But women, after a while, okay, well, I already know he's gonna flip me over at the 20-minute mark. I already know he can put my leg here at the 25-minute mark, and he's probably gonna have an orgasm right here. Because if it's a robotic pattern, they get it's boredom to them. And then if you dig into the person you're with, if there's someone who seek thrills, they're spontaneous, they can get bored really fast with whatever you got going on. And then you introduce kids, you introduce the stress of the financial situation, whatever, that digs down into the sexual desire as well. But women desire variety. They may want 10 inches tonight, and they may want 6 inches next week. They want someone who might can dominate and beat it down to death, and they may want another man who's slow stroking passionate. But you might not have all that in one man. So they may want multiple men, but most people think it's the man that wants different women. It's not necessarily the case. But again, that's the myths that are thrust upon us as kids. I always think it's the man that has extramarital affairs, but you start digging down the layers. Women cheat almost as much as men do in marriages. It's not always just men, but the thing is, women are not sloppy with it. A woman can come
Right.
home and done her business with another man and and a lot of it's ego driven, and you may even know something ain't right, but your ego as a man will think, well, my woman won't do that to me, or she know better. Women, I always say, women are, that's why they call men dogs and women cats. A dog gonna tell
Mm-hmm.
you where he been. He gonna drag everything he been around with the whole day in the house. If he been in the mud, he gonna track the dog and track mud in the house and everywhere he been. But a cat, you don't know where a cat been all day because by the time a cat come in the house, a cat clean, a cat's quiet, a cat will pop out the door. A cat been in the house all day, and you been in the house all day, and I know the damn cat been in the house the whole day until the cat wants you to know that they're in the house, and that's the difference.
You
Um,
know, we touched on it backstage just a little bit, and as we touched on it and we have to jump ahead and go live, I've been pondering on it, and I kind of see, I'm like, dang, I'm trying to put it in my head, I'm trying to picture it, I'm closing my eyes because I'm a deep thinker. But
mhm,
I was like, it does make sense because I think we're at a point in life to where women, um, you got a lot of vocal women, but you also have a lot of women that are quiet and they're not as vocal.
mhm,
But that does not mean that they don't feel a certain kind of way.
mhm,
And because women are more independent and women are, you know, breadwinners in a lot of situations, I
mhm,
think it's more of a desire of feeling like I deserve, I deserve, I
mhm,
deserve. And if it's something that we're not getting, I think it's one of those situations to where, like you said, we're going to make sure we feel like we are deserving of a certain things because we're in a situation to where we are actually doing things that men used to do back in the day. They used to take care of the household. We don't really need that no more. It's more of a want.
mhm.
And we want to be paired with someone. We want to have a good time with someone. We want a partnership. But the more I started pondering on it, I could see how I could see what you're saying, Dr. Real. I can.
So you have to know if you're non-monogamous. A lot of people that are non-monogamous are married, and what they've done is they've taken that side of them and kind of put it in a small box and locked it away.
Yeah.
Either they're afraid of what their family will think of them, or they come out and say, "Hey, I prefer to be with multiple people. I don't want to be with just my husband or my wife. This is who I am." They're scared to do that, or they're even scared to think if I tell my partner this, that I may lose them. And it's not the case. A lot of times people think it's because they're not satisfied with their partner. They may be sexually satisfied, but they just desire the variety. I want to be with Cedric, James, and Tony, and whoever else because he does this to me
Right.
that Tony don't, or vice versa, whatever the case may be. Um, I found out that 17% of human cultures are monogamous. That leaves look at that's a small percentage when you think about it. That
17%.
17%. So there's a lot of people who are sitting here right now in relationships, and like you one point thing you mentioned that is truthful is the communication part. Like if you know, and then you just kind of look, and that's when you have those conversations before you say I do is important. If y'all just talking about past relationships, a lot of people don't like to talk about their past, and past actions are a lot of times indicators of future tendencies. Is the truth? Not always, but it's a good. If you check to a person's past, a lot of times you're gonna kind of see what they may do later on. So if that person tells you they've never been faithful in any relationship, why do you think they're gonna be faithful to you? They
Mm-hmm.
pretty much told you I ain't never been faithful to nobody. So what makes you think that you're the person that can change them? They
Mm-hmm.
may just do it for now, but what happens when that itch comes again 10 years later?
Mm-hmm.
Will they be able to not scratch it? So
Right.
if here's a question that here's a way you can figure out if you're non-monogamous or not. If you have the ability to connect with others as you see fit matters to you more than all circumstances, you're non-monogamous. Or if you find yourself thinking, I can sleep with other people, but my partner can't, you're non-monogamous. It's easy. There's a difference between cheating and being non-monogamous. Cheating is you're not telling your partner you're sleeping with other people. And cheating is not just always sex. Cheating is being emotional affairs. You can have an affair with a person online, and you're telling them your deepest, darkest fantasies and stuff that you don't divulge to your partner. That's cheating. But people don't think of it that way. Cheating does not always have to be a physical thing. I find that emotional cheating is worse than the physical part because you're giving that person a lot of you that I don't have.
Mm-hmm.
The sex is just the last part of it. And like I said before in one of my quotes is about if you don't have loyalty and trust, excuse my language, but screw love. Love is the frosting on the cake to me. That's like the last thing
That's
you put on
it.
it. But we
Exactly.
value because of the movies and because of all the fairy tales that we're fed as children,
Tradition. Tradition.
love is put in the forefront. But that's the
Yeah.
minute ingredient in making a relationship. If I can't trust you, what the hell does love matter?
Because you know
If,
what, Dr. Real? It's some people out here love their dog. It's some people out here love birds. It's some people out here that love,
people
that's
love crack.
that's people love crack. You hear me?
You know
You
what
see,
I'm saying? So
people love
it's
crack.
you just have
I
to
ain't
ask
into.
yourself. It's not even about the part about being faithful. You have to ask yourself, and you do you want to, as a human, you want to be the best human you can be. You want to be all the human you can be because, like I said before, life is not infinite. Even though we treat it as such, and it takes somebody to die for us to go back and say the same crap we always say. Life is too
Exactly.
short. That lasts a good 3 days, and then you're right back doing the same crap you were doing before. You're not calling your mama no more. You're not doing things you're supposed to be doing because this and that moment, the reality of the shortness of life is in your face. And then, like I said, a couple days later, you back to doing what you're doing. So we know life is
Yeah.
infinite. I mean, finite. We know that.
Yep.
But at the
But we
end of
got
the
to
day,
figure out
if
people, Dr. Real,
you
this is traditional stuff.
just be
It's all
truthful.
traditional.
If you want to be the best human you want to be and live the best life you can possibly lead, you have to be able to be honest with who you're with, and more importantly, honest with yourself. Because if you are a freak leak and you know that's who you are and to the core of yourself, you're never ever going to be faithful to your partner. You're just not. You're never going to be
Exactly.
faithful to them because there's always going to be an issue. Because at the end of the day, you know in the heart of hearts, you're not a monogamous person.
Exactly.
You're playing a role. You're acting. You're not being true to you. So you're doing a disservice not only to yourself but to your partner because you can destroy a person that way. Just say, you know
Exactly.
what, this is who I am.
Yep.
I don't know if you're gonna be okay with that. And you have to be able to risk it all. If that's who you are at the core of your heart, and that's who you are, then why drag somebody else into that world if they're not into it? You just may, and it may hurt, but you may need to just leave what you have alone and go out and do you, and you're gonna find yourself a lot more joyful, damn being happy. Because like I say, happy is a fleeting emotion. You can have a sandwich drop on the floor, your ass ain't happy no more. But when you're joyful, that's in
Eh,
your heart. So if you're
right.
not being you, you're not joyful. You're just doing what you think everybody wants you to do. And as
Yep.
an adult, that sucks doing what you think everybody wants you to do. That's the whole part of
Right.
being grown is doing what you want to do. As a kid,
Right.
you gotta do what everybody expects you to do. But as a grown up, you should be able to do and have the freedom to do what you want to do, but understand that comes with consequences. Like I said, for me, and I said this before, if you think you can have your cake and eat it too, you better have something to drink with that shit because you're gonna choke on it.
I know that's right.
It's point blank, period. You're gonna choke on it because you can't have it both ways
Absolutely.
with some people, and I don't want to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Carlos Johnson said, loyalty is everything. I want to piggyback off of what he said. There's a trend going on Facebook too, guys, about these red flags. If you look at your timeline, you'll see people post all these red flags everywhere, and then they'll have like a little quote or something by it.
That's a joke.
Uh, but here's the thing. To me, I'm going to speak for me. It's always a red flag to me if you're dealing with a guy and they say something to you because they're trying to introduce something to you, and they continue to tell you, but they don't make me love you any different. They don't make me love you any less. Baby, listen, love ain't what love got to do with it. I'm like, I can
Amen.
Tina them. What does love have to do with it? I'm already tuned out if you keep talking to me about how much you love me, because I'm not into that. Like, I don't need you to love me that much. I love me for me. Loyalty is everything, because that takes the place of your mindset and how you will do things and how you move. So the love is blind, if that makes sense.
To
You know
me,
what I'm saying? The red flags everywhere.
to me, love stands for loyalty, obedience, value, and effort. That's what love
Absolutely.
stands for me. Because you have those four things in any relationship, not just romantic, but in your dating relationships, you're going to have an almost effortless time with those individuals. Because if y'all have the same values in place, you're loyal to each other, you're obedient to each other, and not looking at obedient as slave. And that's not what I'm talking about. That's what people, when you say obedience to a woman, they all get defensive, because the obedience has taken a negative tone. That's not what obedience means. Obedience don't mean do everything I say. That's not what I'm talking about. Obedience is meaning, to me, means I'm going to do all the things that I know are right towards you, and vice versa. I know that if I'm out by myself, I'm not going to do anything different than I would do if I was with you, to me. And some people don't do that. I'm a different person when I'm by myself versus with my spouse. Like, why would you be that way? You should be the same person. So if you are flirty as hell when you by yourself, why are you hiding that from your spouse?
Exactly.
Let them see who you are, so that person can make a choice. Because what's worse, the worst thing about lying to a person is you're making the decisions for that person. You're not giving them an opportunity to have any input into it, because you're making a decision because you're lying to them. Tell them the truth, and you got to be ready for the consequences. And most people are not ready for consequences. They're not ready for it.
They're not. Ooh, we talked a lot tonight. We're over time. I know, but this was really, really good. We touched on a lot of stuff that we wanted to talk about. Again, if this is your first time rocking with us, thank y'all so much for tuning in this Wednesday night. We are here every Wednesday night between the hours of 8 and 9 p.m. We also have other shows. I'm excited. I'm going to be on the Mamapreneur podcast. It's going to be hosted, of course, by Robin. That's her show. And there's going to be a couple of other ladies on there with us. And we're going to talk about entrepreneurship. And it's going to be like a round table. So I like stuff like that. One other thing, if you're on here, Robin actually has she's looking for kidpreneurs. She got the mamapreneur, but she's looking for kidpreneurs. So if you know someone that actually is a kid and they have stepped out of their comfort zone, they're developing a business, of course their parent have to be on with them, hit us up so that we can get them locked in to a date to appear on the Mamapreneur podcast. Also, we do real estate here. We have credit. We got buying and selling with Bree on Monday nights between the hours of 8 and 9 p.m. Also, I'm going to drop this email right here, powerteamus5@gmail.com. If you guys want to hit us up and be our pen pal, we'll love to discuss the topics that you want on our show, or you can DM me personally, DM Dr. Real. We'll take that feedback and whatever information you want us to share, and we'll do that also. Do you have a quote for us tonight, Dr. Real?
Yes. You can only claim youthful ignorance once. Once you gain experience and make the same decision, you are no longer ignorant. You are complacent.
Ooh, shoot. I thought it was the margaritas. I'm drinking me some margaritas tonight, y'all, but I thought it was the margarita, but you've been hitting us with this real stuff, and it's registering. It's like who are you talking to? The people in the back.
And I got one more for y'all.
We listening. Give us another.
If you never change within, you will always be without.
Deep. That's deep.
So let that register in your brain to next Wednesday. You heard?
Let that marinate.
That's some good gumbo.
Hey, let it marinate. Wow, this has been a really, really good show. Thank y'all so much. I saw a lot of comments here. I know we couldn't get to them all because we wanted to talk about all the stuff that we needed to talk about with you guys tonight. But join us again next Wednesday night between the hours of 8 and 9 p.m. and we'll continue And we ain't got to go home, but we got to get the hell up out of here. This has been a really, really good show. So we'll see you guys next time. Y'all be safe. Peace.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
That topic